North America, bald eagles are more than a national symbol. They are apex predators that balance aquatic ecosystems and inspire millions of people who watch nest cams every spring. Every new season brings a new cast of characters. In 2025, the world cheered for Sunny and Gizmo, the sibling eaglets of Jackie and Shadow in California's Big Bear Valley, and followed TE3, the lone survivor from the Trempealeau nest in Wisconsin. Their stories illustrated how bald eagle chicks grow from tiny, down-covered hatchlings into confident hunters. Understanding that journey requires us to examine the biology of the species, the dedication of eagle parents, and the way the young develop independence. Building and guarding a giant nursery. Each season begins months before an eaglet breaks through its shell. Mature bald eagles choose nest sites near large bodies of water so that fish, their main food, are nearby. Their nests, usually built high in a strong tree, can measure more than 13 feet deep and 8 feet across, though an average nest is about 5 feet wide and 2 to 4 feet deep. A breeding pair adds sticks, grass, and moss every year, strengthening the platform that will cradle their brood. Females usually lay 1 to 3 eggs each year. 2 eggs are most common. When 3 are laid, it is rare for all 3 chicks to survive because the youngest often lags in size and strength. Laying takes place over several days. The female begins incubating the first egg immediately, which is why the first chick often hatches several days before its siblings. Incubation lasts about 35 days, during which both parents take turns brooding, though the female does the majority of the work. The eggs are turned regularly to maintain even warmth and prevent the embryos from sticking to the shell membranes. Hatching, the first heroic struggle. Hatching is a demanding process that begins when the chick pierces the inner membrane of its shell and starts breathing through the porous shell. Soon a small external pip appears. Over the next 24-48 hours, the eaglet uses its egg tooth, a small, temporary hook on its beak, to chip away at the shell. Observers at Duke Farms documented this process step by step. A visible crack appeared, the shell began to separate around the middle, and by sunrise the chick pushed free. The newly hatched eaglet weighs only about 3 ounces and is covered in white-gray natal down that provides little insulation, so the female resumes brooding immediately. A clutch seldom hatches perfectly synchronously. The first chick usually emerges stronger and, in a phenomenon known as asynchronous hatching, takes advantage of its head start. Scientists have observed that the first eaglet often receives the most food. In one field study, the largest eaglet consumed about 67% of a fish, while the second and third chicks received 18.9% and 13.7% respectively. In extreme cases, the smallest eaglet may starve or be killed by its siblings. Parents seldom intervene in these disputes, as they are tied to the survival of the strongest young. Rapid growth and sibling dynamics. For the first week, one adult is almost always on the nest, keeping the chicks warm and safe. The male does most of the hunting and delivers fish, waterfowl, rodents, or carrion. The female tears small pieces for the chicks. After about 3 weeks, the female gradually leaves the nest for brief periods while the male replaces her. By the 5th or 6th week, both parents roost away from the nest for longer stretches. Feeding dynamics remain uneven. When food is abundant, multiple eaglets can fledge successfully. When food is scarce, the oldest may monopolize deliveries and the youngest may not survive. Development is astonishingly fast. Within 9-10 days, the chicks replace their natal down with thermal down, a gray layer that insulates better. Juvenile feathers begin to emerge by 3 weeks, first on the head and back, and by 5 weeks feathers appear on the breast and belly. By 6 to 7 weeks, most of the body is covered in juvenile feathers, though patches of down remain. The chicks' beaks, feet, and legs are dark at this stage. Around 7 weeks, they start tearing pieces of fish themselves, though they still rely on their parents to deliver prey. During this growth phase, watchers around the world observed big bears Sunny and Gizmo. On Country Living's Nest Cam Recap, wildlife ecologist Ray Wingrand explained that bald eagle chicks generally fledge at 10-12 weeks, and the big bear pair followed this schedule. By 11 weeks, Sunny's wings were large enough to fill the camera view as she performed exercises to strengthen her flight muscles. Gizmo, 4 days younger, practiced alongside her sister. Their feathers clearly marked them as juveniles, yet they were nearly as large as their parents. Preparing for flight. Around 8 weeks, eaglets begin branching, venturing from the nest to nearby branches. They practice flapping, hopping, and balancing. Thigh. S stage is precarious. Many young birds miss a landing and fall. Parental behavior changes too. Adults reduce food deliveries, sometimes dangling prey just out of reach to encourage the young to take short flights. Fledging, defined as the first flight from the nest, occurs between 8 and 14 weeks depending on food availability, weather, and the sex of the eaglet. Males tend to fledge earlier than females. On July 10, 2025, TE3, the lone survivor of the Trempealeau nest, took her inaugural flight. The Raptor Resource Project reported that she made a short flight from the nest tree to the cam tree next door, landed smoothly, then flew back to the nest to spend the day exploring and branching. Unlike her earlier siblings lost to hypothermia, TE3 had thrived, and her fledge triggered celebrations among the online community. Similarly, Sunny and Gizmo fledged in early June 2025. After their first flights, observers saw them perch near the nest and continue to practice their landings, sometimes returning to rest in the nest. Post-fledging, finishing school for eagles. Fledging is not the end of parental care. Journey North notes that fledglings may remain dependent on their parents for 4-6 weeks. Adults continue to bring food, but they may eat part of it in the open so that youngsters learn to approach and snatch meals. The young birds hone not only their hunting skills, but also their flying skills. This stage is noisy. Fledglings and adults call frequently to maintain contact. Because landing is difficult, fledglings may perch at one spot for days or even spend time on the ground, where they are vulnerable to predators. Sunny and Gizmo's fans wondered how long they would stick around after fledging. Dr. Wynne Grant reassured viewers that the juvenile eagles would continue to rely on the nest for safety and food, so they would likely pop back onto the nest cam from time to time. She added that by 6 months of age, young eagles begin hunting independently, starting with small prey and progressing to larger animals as their skills develop. TE3's progress echoed this pattern. Videos later showed her successfully navigating from branch to branch and practicing swoops over the water. Learning to hunt. How do bald eagles learn to hunt? Studies suggest that while parents provide food and model hunting behaviors, they do not explicitly teach their young. Young eagles refine their hunting skills through trial and error. After fledging, they follow the adults to feeding grounds, watching them catch fish. Their first independent meals often come from scavenging. They pick up floating dead fish or feed on carcasses. Gradually, they attempt low dives and snatches, sometimes failing. Journey North reports that it takes about 4-12 weeks after fledging for young eagles to begin hunting successfully, and specialized skills may take years to master. Survival depends on developing these skills quickly. Juvenile eagles travel widely during their first 4 years, wandering in search of food. Mortality in the first year can exceed 50%. Sunny and Gizmo's story underscores this vulnerability. After leaving Big Bear, they spent the summer exploring the San Bernardino Mountains and learning to catch fish and small mammals. Social media updates from friends of Big Bear Valley revealed that both sisters returned briefly to the nest area in late summer, and then were seen less often as they ventured farther afield. TE3, too, dispersed from Wisconsin's Trempealeau Refuge in late summer, traveling along the Mississippi Flyway. Transformation to adulthood. As young eagles wander, their appearance changes dramatically. Juvenile birds leave the nest with dark brown plumage with white flecking. The beak, legs, and cere are blackish, and the iris is dark. This plumage is retained for about 6 months. After the first year, the beak begins to turn yellow and white mottling on the body increases. By about 3.5 years, the head and tail start to turn white, but brown flecking remains. True adult plumage, dark body with a pure white head and tail, is attained between 4.5 and 5.5 years. Some individuals take up to 8 years to achieve a fully white head and tail. During this maturation, juvenile eagles may be mistaken for golden eagles, but they are distinguishable by their size and wing shape. Adult plumage is also when sexual differences become evident. Male and female bald eagles look alike, but females are about 25% larger. Adults weigh between 6-14 pounds, measure about 31 inches from head to tail, and have a wingspan of 5.975 feet. Both sexes continue to improve hunting efficiency, with mature adults capable of diving at 75-99 mph. The white head and tail serve as a signal of maturity and breeding readiness. Bald eagles typically begin breeding at about 5 years of age. Challenges along the way. The path from egg to hunter is fraught with dangers. Natural mortality includes starvation, sibling aggression, predation, and accidents during Earl. Why flights? Weather can be deadly. For example, one of Jackie and Shadow's chicks, believed to be the eldest, died in a snowstorm shortly after hatching. Human impacts add further risk. During the mid-20th century, the pesticide DDT caused eggshells to thin and crack. Shooting, trapping, and habitat loss also drove populations downward. Conservation measures. Most notably, the 1972 ban on DDT and legal protection under the Bald and Golden Eagle Protection Act allowed the species to recover. Reintroduction programs, such as Missouri's release of 74 young eagles in the 1980s, helped reestablish populations in areas where they had disappeared. Today, nest cameras and social media have created a new kind of challenge: human attachment. Tens of thousands of viewers watch eaglets like Sunny, Gizmo, and TE3 in real time, celebrating milestones and mourning losses. While these cameras raise awareness and foster support for conservation, they can also blur the line between wildness and entertainment. Experts caution viewers not to interfere or anthropomorphize. Nature follows its own rhythms, and not all chicks survive. The journey from egg to sky is a mix of parental devotion, rapid growth, practice, and perseverance. A bald eagle chick hatches after 35 days of incubation, weak and downy. In a matter of weeks, it grows to the size of an adult, replaces its down with feathers, competes with siblings, and learns to stand, branch, and fly. Fledging typically occurs around 10-12 weeks, but independence requires another month or more of practice and parental feeding. By 6 months, the young eagle begins hunting small prey, and by 5 years it will don the iconic white head and tail. Along the way, survival depends on food availability, weather, skill, and chance. The stories of Sunny, Gizmo, and TE3 remind us that each eaglet faces unique challenges yet shares a universal drive: the instinctive urge to spread its wings and claim the sky.